Dave Palumbo here for an RX Muscle news update. The IFBB Legions Sports Fest has officially concluded. It concluded late last night. We did a little brief update on Heavy Muscle Radio. We kind of anticipated that Tonio Burton was going to win this show. He indeed did in spectacular fashion. Not the tallest guy. Certainly not the tallest guy. Jamie the Giant was the tallest guy at 6'6". Certainly not the biggest guy, but definitely the most complete guy on stage. He was shredded from head to toe. Chris Aceto compared him to a young Dexter Jackson. He's got a lot of gifts. He has got a tremendous front double bicep pose. He's got a small waist. He's got great abs. He's got glutes, hamstrings. He's got all the wow factor that you could possibly want in a bodybuilder in a small package. And I think that he's going to improve as the years progress. We're going to see him add more size in the right places, and he's going to get more complete, and he's going to be a very deadly competitor moving forward. We said when Tonio first switched from 212 to open that we were going to see, you know, a really, really impressive person enter the open ranks, and he was going to do damage. We knew it was only a matter of time. Chris and I speculated that it might be next year, but you know what? He didn't stop, and he's been competing multiple times this year now, especially this late into the season. I'm shocked that his body is still improving, but it looks like he's actually added muscle as well as gotten leaner. This was probably the best, most complete look of Tonio Burton that we've seen, and he was rewarded with first place here, beating, you know, a pretty good Justin Rodriguez. Justin Rodriguez, who really kind of wowed us all at the beginning of the year at the Arnold Classic with his tremendous added size. It still looks to me as though Justin just maybe needed to rest a little bit more. I just feel like his physique isn't popping like the way it did earlier in the year, where things were just bursting from the seams. He kind of looks, I don't know, like almost hard enough, but not quite hard enough. Almost full enough, but not quite full enough. And I don't know if it's a matter of his body not responding or if he just wasn't lean enough here. And sometimes when you keep trying to ask your body to do more and more and more, and it just wants a rest, it just doesn't respond. And, you know, it's not a matter of, I'm sure Justin worked very hard. I'm sure he did his cardio. I'm sure he suffered. But sometimes the body just says, hey, we're not going to give you what you want. We need to rest. And I think that's the case with Justin's physique at this point. Look, second place at a pro show is I mean, that's still a tremendous accolade. But for Justin Rodriguez, he was coming in here expecting to win and go right to the Olympia. So I think this was a disappointment for him, even though he did finish in second. But I think that we've seen better Justin Rodriguez's. I'd like to see him rest now for the rest of the season and maybe do the Arnold Classic in March. I think that that would be a wiser decision. But obviously that's up to him and his team to decide what they're going to do. Now, Rashid Oldraker, who we haven't seen in years, you know, this is a guy who I helped win the USA years ago, kind of had some personal issues, disappeared. We haven't seen him on the scene. And I thought this was a good comeback for him. The guy has got oodles of muscle. There's no doubt about that. He's got tremendous, tremendous thickness. We really expected to see him at the top of the IFBB ranks by now, but sometimes life happens and you just can't get to where you think you need to get to. I hope he's back now. From what I understand, he's training at the Species Gym over there in Texas, and he's on a good path at this point. I think by next year, this time, if he can continue to train consistently, we're going to see him, you know, win pro shows. I mean, he's that good. I felt like his back still hasn't come back to what it was, you know, when he was at the height of his powers. His front poses are great. His conditioning from the front was really good. He's got great legs, of course. He's got, you know, good midsection. He's got delts and arms and shoulders, oodles of that. He had glutes and hams. They could have been a little harder. But once again, I felt his back was a little down in size from what we'd seen it in the past. This was a good outing for him. You know, I don't think anyone would have complained if he would have come in second place here. So good comeback for Rashid Oldraker. Finishing in fourth, Stan DeLongo, who, you know, started in classic physique a couple of years ago. So this was a great, I felt like for him, this was a coming out for sure. To place fourth in this lineup, because the guys were good, was really a feather in his cap. Could he have been better? Yeah, I think he could have been, but I thought this was a good look for him. He's added a lot of size to his physique, and sometimes when you add a lot of size quickly, you have to kind of refine it a little bit, get more of that muscle maturity, make it look more three-dimensional. That's going to happen over the next 2 years with Stan. I don't think he's there yet, and I still think he needs a little bit more muscle to really stand up there in that open class. I felt like he was full enough, but I felt like he could have been a little harder. And I think if he would have been hard, he might have been too small. So I think it was a good compromise for him. But in my estimation, I really felt that Jamie the Giant, who finished in 5th place, I really thought he probably could have. I think he could have been as high as 2nd place here, to be honest with you. He had great conditioning. His back double bicep pose and back lat spread were really good. He's tall, very tall, 6'5", or 6'6", around there. And because of that, he's, it's hard to compare him with shorter guys. I mean, look at Tonio Burton compared to him. I mean, it was well over a foot difference. And so that makes it hard for comparisons, And Tonio was so complete that because he won, he was kind of the standard that they compared it to. And Jamie was kind of left out in left field, so to speak, no pun intended, because he just didn't match up with the other guys because he's so tall. So, I mean, like I said, I could have seen him as high as 2nd. I don't think anyone would have complained if he was 3rd, but, or 4th. I don't know. It's a flip of the coin at that point. Everyone was really good. I felt his conditioning was better than pretty much everyone aside from Tonio Burton. So I'm a conditioning guy, so I would have liked to see him place higher. Also, for a tall guy, he's got good symmetry, So once again, I thought the whole top 5 was really good and surprisingly good considering we had another show in Italy on the same day. So, which James Hollingshead won. So the lineup was kind of split in terms of pros. So, this was better than expected. Tonio obviously was the star here. We're going to see him go to the Olympia. And I bet you he gets better over the next couple of months leading up to, what do we have, about 8 weeks, 7 weeks? I bet you he gains a couple pounds of muscle. This guy's a genetic freak for sure. And, can he place top 10 at the Olympia? I'm sure that's his goal. I think he can. I think if he just doesn't worry about size and worries more about conditioning and coming in sliced a la Dexter Jackson, I think we're going to see this guy really establish himself as a guy to beat in the IFBB open ranks. Good show. Great job by Chris Minnis putting that on. He always does a phenomenal job. I'm sure the athletes had a really awesome time. He held a lot of Masters divisions too. You can check out all those results. And these pictures are coming compliments of npcnewsonline.com. Thank you guys for allowing me to use those. For now, I'm Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle News Update.